Positive thinking has a tremendous impact on our brains, body, and life. It also fully affects the way in which we manifest our lives and use the law of attraction. We are all capable of having positive thoughts and can train ourselves to look at ourselves and our lives in a positive light. But what that does for the brain and body itself sometimes is overlooked. Positive thinking can have both a positive mental effect and a positive physical effect on the body. In this video, I'm going to explain the causes and effects that positive thinking can have on the brain and the body so you can have a better understanding of why creating this habit is so crucial when it comes to manifesting a life you choose to live. And I'm also going to touch on why negative thinking is a habit that it's time to let go of. A simple explanation of positive thinking is having thought patterns that are usually more optimistic in nature. The ability to be optimistic when thinking depends largely on self-discipline and repetition. We don't always have positive thoughts running through our minds, but we can train our brains to create a positive habit that predominantly occupies this space with practice. The brain has a number of effects when patterns of positive thinking are introduced, starting with the chemicals that are released when we have positive thoughts. The main chemical stimulating the feelings that follow most optimistic thought patterns is serotonin. This chemical is responsible for increased levels of happiness, a more balanced mood, and healthier patterns of sleep. When serotonin is introduced into the brain, a more altruistic thought pattern is seen. Thoughts that may have once started with words such as I or me become us and we. This pattern is like an echo that sends feedback out into the world, attracting more positive experiences and interactions to come back to their original source. There are also key components of overall physical health linked to serotonin besides healthier sleep. These include better digestion of food and increased healing patterns. The conscious and physical brain have detectable patterns that have been researched when individuals think more positively. Optimists see effects such as an increase in synapses in the brain, which in turn increases cognition. Another effect is the increase in the ability to pay attention and analyze your surroundings and connect with more positive things. Creativity is also boosted, and a pattern is seen between optimistic thinking and the ability to creatively think. The ability to think positively is also linked to better coping mechanisms and the ability to handle stress more effectively as compared to those who do not. In contrast to the potential of thinking positively and being optimistic, the other path of negative thinking also comes with its own effects, albeit not necessarily beneficial ones. Negative thinking, or pessimism, has the ability to negatively affect the physical health and the brain of the body. In studies done on those with patterns of negative thinking, they showed an increase of chemicals in the brain relating to stress. Negative thoughts and emotions also disturb your interaction with your environment, affecting the ability to perceive things that are positive, remember things effectively, and reinforce existing or create new neural connections that relate to more positive thinking and outcomes. Because every thought releases brain chemicals, being focused on negative thoughts effectively drains the brain of its positive energy, and can even go as far as slowing down your brain's ability to function and see the good things in life by making it difficult to process thoughts and find solutions. The physical results of negative thinking include detrimental effects on the immune system, heart and circulation issues, and an increase in stress. Stress, which has been directly linked to physical damage of the body due to inflammation, is one of the major concerns of negative thinking patterns. With this in mind, it's important to see why optimistic or positive thinking is more important in everyday life. While it may seem easier to dwell on negative thoughts and events in the brain, due to the addiction to the chemicals that take place during these types of thoughts, it's equally important to try and perceive positive memories and events with as much detail and mental commitment so that new brain habits and more positive associations and chemical releases begin to form. By putting extra time and care into mentally archiving the good events in your life, it becomes easier to associate these good feelings into your everyday experiences. Over time, a habit is built up, and with this habit, more optimistic thinking is achieved. Your frontal lobe, in particular your prefrontal cortex, has the job of deciding what is important to you based on the amount of attention you pay to something and how you feel about it. So if you spend time and focus on negative things, your brain will begin to create more synapses and neurons that support those negative thought processes. And those synapses and neurons become like a highway that your brain can travel easily. But the same is true of positive thoughts and focus. What we repeatedly think and feel about specific experiences, places, and people become deeply ingrained within us. In other words, if we begin to think and speak in terms of our dreams becoming true and achieving success in our lives, we can rewire our brains to begin to look for circumstances that match that style of thinking. In essence, what we think, do, and say really matters. These things affect who we become on the outside, the inside, and in our brain and our experience of life. And neuroplasticity has shown over and over again that anyone can retrain their brain to become more positive and create and manifest totally new experiences from life. Here are a few tips that will help you start the process of forming and reinforcing positive thinking habits. Number 1, try not to get caught in a cycle of self-criticism or loathing. Nothing good comes from criticizing the self. Begin to think of each challenge as a stepping stone to the outcome that you're aiming to achieve. Number 2, practice self-compassion and care. This is the opposite of self-criticism. Look in the mirror and tell yourself how much you love you until you begin to feel comfortable with this. And begin to do more things that you enjoy. Third, be generous to both those around you and yourself. Giving positive energy and thoughts to those around you and in your environment garners the same energy towards yourself. 4, be careful with overstimulating the brain. With too much input, whether it be neutral or negative, the brain can become stressed. This can lead to a cyclical nature and a pattern of negative thinking forming. Meditation is a great way to calm the mind and the body and release this type of stress. Number 5, challenge yourself to look for positive things in every situation. In doing this, you shift the brain's focus and begin to wire in those new pathways that will eventually and automatically do this on their own. And lastly, it's important to stay mindful and in the present moment. Enjoy and take in your surroundings while creating the habit of letting go of any hyper-focus on memories or events that have negative meanings attached to them. Having challenging things happen as a way to grow and expand can be a part of life. But what truly governs the difference between positive thinking and negative thinking is the response that we give to the stimulus. Training yourself to stay positive during challenging times creates different results by lessening the challenge and attracting more positive outcomes. Starting with just these things begins to form a positive thinking habit. By having a positive outlook on a situation, it can change what we believe. When we believe in something, it can change how we feel. And when we feel a certain way about any subject, it translates into action. In this instance, it would be a positive belief and positive action. And when we have positive actions in our lives, it circles back into having more positive thoughts. This loop is something that can also be set for negative thinking, but by reframing and choosing to have more positive thoughts, it can directly translate into our physical action, environment, and the way in which we manifest. What we put out into the world is what we receive back. Research has discovered that those who hold a positive outlook on life lead successful, happy, rich, and fulfilled lives. They have great relationships with others, better health habits, stronger immune systems, and longer lives. They attribute good events to themselves and their outlook on life, citing their traits and abilities as the cause. Anything challenging that comes up for them is attributed to being impermanent, and you often hear a positive person describe these types of challenges by using words such as sometimes or occasionally to describe them. On the flip side of that coin, individuals with a habit of thinking negatively will often explain good events that happen in their lives by stating impermanent causes such as moods, luck, and effort, and challenging events as permanent conditions, often using words such as always and never. Our thoughts are the first stage of the thinking cycle. Our beliefs and our nature correspond with our thoughts. From there, our actions correspond. When we have more positive thoughts, we believe in more positive outcomes and feel and act accordingly, manifesting back to us people, places, and experiences of a like nature. In other words, your thoughts and predominant way of thinking form you and your character. They dictate how you operate in the world and what you're able to experience as a result of that. All of our actions and emotions proceed from our thoughts and govern how far we will expand mentally, physically, and spiritually. You are what you think you are, and your inner thoughts will always be reflected in your outer circumstances. And if you think about it, you might be able to recall that changes in your life have always been preceded by changes in the way you think.